Good morning, Marysville. Welcome to Charger Chat. This morning we have the Mayor of Marysville, John Nehring.
And our hosts, Vitaly Bochenko and Micah Ramos.
Yeah, so let's kick this thing off. But John, how are you doing this morning?
Doing great, thank you.
Awesome.
Happy to be here.
So let's kick it right off with, let's start with your childhood.
Yeah.
You're now the mayor, but is that how you envisioned yourself when you were a kid?
Oh, good question. I wouldn't say when I was a small child, but as I got into the high school years, I really did develop a passion for politics and read a lot about it, studied it, followed it closely, and actually took some classes on contemporary world politics and speech class that I really enjoyed. And so, yeah, I think by the time I was in high school, I probably thought, well, maybe I'd like to run for some elected office at some point in my life. And then by the time I got through college and out into the business world, I got busy with that for a long time. But I was in the back of my mind wanted to get to this point where I could run for political office. Yeah.
Now, starting out in high school, did something inspire you to take interest in politics, or just kind of out of the blue thing?
You know, I had some teachers actually who were pretty influential in my life, I think, and that were into it, and that influenced me some. And then I think just a natural interest in it through watching the news and different things. I just developed a real like for the contemporary world issues and politics and the whole thing.
So, jumping forward a few years, what made you decide to become mayor of Marysville, or at least run for it?
Yeah, no, good question. I was on the city council. I ran for city council in 2001. Mm-hmm. Served a full term as council member, and then got reelected to a second term. And during that second term, I started thinking, I would like to, if the current mayor doesn't run again, would like to take a shot at running for mayor. And so that started to get in the back of my mind, I think, during my second term as council. And then when the opportunity opened up, I was prepared to take it. So yeah, I had probably 3 years or so before I actually became mayor, was thinking about the opportunity to run for mayor at some point in the future when it was, when it was open.
All right. Kind of a personal question. Public speaking, obviously as mayor you have to do a lot of it.
Yeah.
Do you still, even after been doing it for a while, do you still get anxious when you have to talk to a crowd?
Not really. I think you always get a little bit nervous when you get up there, but over the years that's really subsided a lot. Honestly, the preparation work is more the work. Once you're at the stage for the speech, tend to be I think pretty relaxed and enjoy that that part of it, and that just comes I think from doing it a lot. But it depends on the address. I do once a year I do a State of the City address, which is a pretty big address. That's about 35-40 minutes. So sometimes before that, something like that, you get a little nervous because you're trying to remember all the points you want to touch on, and it's a pretty lengthy speech and stuff. So. But overall, no, I really enjoy public speaking, and I don't get too anxious going into it.
When did you realize that you enjoyed public speaking?
I think probably in my college years, I had an opportunity to do some things. I was head of the lecture series on campus, so I'd bring different lectures on, and I would introduce them. And then there were some other clubs and stuff I was involved in where I did some public speaking. And initially, I was very nervous, but as I got through that further in my college career, I started to really enjoy it. So I'd say right around that time is when I.
Did you have any tricks to make you less anxious, or was it just you go try your best and then?
Yeah, I think just practice. Well, I don't think it was any tricks, but just practice and preparation beforehand always makes you comfortable. If you're confident that, hey, I'm prepared, I know what I want to say. So I always try and put a lot of time into preparation, and then treating it conversationally as opposed to just kind of a rigid speech, but more like, hey, I'm talking to all these folks out here. They're my friends, that type of thing. Those were kind of some of the things that I would work through.
What do you think was your best speech throughout your college days or nowadays?
Wow. Well, you'd probably want to ask the people that listened. I mean, but I guess if I were to evaluate it, I think the State of the City speech this past year, I felt good after that and got a lot of good feedback. And we had quite a 2014, so there was a lot to report on, and so that gave me a lot to discuss. So that made me feel pretty good about that. But overall, I guess the people that listen would have to judge whether I'm doing a good job with my speeches or not.
When you prepare for a speech, how long does that normally take, and what does it really include?
I would say for every 5 minutes of the speech, you're probably looking at close to an hour's preparation. So for a major address like a State of the City, 30 to 35 minutes, you're probably looking at 7 to 8 hours of preparation.
Writing it out.
Yeah, writing it out, practicing it, that type of thing. If it's a 5-minute speech, then maybe hour and a half.
Yeah.
Type. Yeah.
Do you usually practice them like I know in high school they tell us if you're gonna give a presentation or a speech in class, you practice it in front of the mirror. And do you do the same tactics or?
The only one I will do that on a major one like State of the City, but I do a lot of 5 to 7 minute speeches, and there just isn't enough time to necessarily do that. So usually on those I'll just read it over at my desk. And so early on I did a lot of that, but now I guess I'm a little more comfortable with where if I just kind of read it and maybe kind of practice it in my mind and time it out, I don't necessarily need to be in front of a mirror or anything.
Okay. What's your so obviously you've probably given speeches on a lot of subjects, things that happen, but what's been your favorite thing to give a speech about? What's been the easiest for you, like you felt super confident about it?
I really enjoy speeches around events like 9/11 Memorial. We have a Memorial Day celebration that I've spoken at a couple of times at the cemetery on 88th. And, things where we're honoring veterans and stuff like that. I really enjoy speeches where I can incorporate thanks and honor for people that have made significant sacrifices for our community and our country. To me, that's important, and so I enjoy recognizing other people in speeches like that.
What about the more tougher speeches, like things? Have you ever had it when like there's a subject that you just don't know what to write, you're not sure what to really say, and it takes extra long to prepare for it?
Yeah, there are some. I mean, when you have a event that you're not expecting in the community, especially a tragedy, and then you're put in front of a camera or something to address that, that can be difficult because you want to make sure you have the right tone and you're saying the right things to a community that's waiting to hear, especially if it's something that's tragic and unexpected. So those are always a little difficult and make you a little anxious about how it's going to come off.
Understandable. So previously you talked about how you were in the city council before mayor. What's it like being in the city council? Like, what is that, the duties and stuff?
So city council, and I've enjoyed both positions. I really love my job as mayor right now. But city council was very fulfilling as well. It's so the council is the legislative branch of government. Mayor, what I am now, is the executive branch. So it works really similar to state or federal government from the standpoint that the council sets the policy, they pass the ordinances or the laws of the city of Marysville. Okay. They also pass the budget, so they have the power of the purse, just like they do at other levels of government. The executive branch executes those laws and takes the budget that the council gives them and works with that budget to do all the things that need to be done in the city, provide sewer service, water, roads, parks, public safety, all those things. So I guess the council's duties really lie in the policy arena, debating and setting laws and setting priorities for the way money is spent. The executive has the duties of day-to-day, every single day, figuring out how to operate the government with those laws and with that budget that the council's passed. So real similar to state and federal, just at a smaller level.
Okay. Well, back to speeches. When we come back from our first segment, we're actually going to have you address your people about crazy situations that we've made up about Marysville. So right now we're going to cut to a segment called Get It, and it's about comp pong that we play here at ISC. Let's go to that.
You're going down, man.
Not today.
You ready?
You know what, man? Been ready since Monday.
All right, man. Till 7.
going down this time. Let's go!
If you say so. All right, here we go again.
All right, Marysville. Now, this morning it was discovered that our city was covered in chocolate sauce. Now, we don't know what happened, but our mayor is going to address the situation. Mayor, please take it away.
Thank you. We're doing everything we can to respond to this very strange event in our community. We have volunteers coming in by the hundreds, offering to assist with cleanup, and they're taking great care to take this chocolate sauce and preserve it in large resealable bags, presumably for use at their homes in the future. There's been a real run on ice cream also in our community, I must tell you, and our local supermarkets and are struggling with that. There's been impromptu parties that have been organized all throughout the community where people are dunking fruit and other objects such as marshmallows and other goodies in the chocolate sauce that is dripping off of their homes and porches. I would say that the most concerning and the most immediate concern for this event is the effect that it might have on our Healthy Communities Initiative. Years of work have gone into bringing awareness to the value of healthy eating and exercise in the city of Marysville. Jogging in chocolate sauce, as you can imagine, is very, very difficult. And withstanding the temptation to add chocolate sauce to one's daily diet is overwhelming. So I can assure you that we have all of our top people on this regarding the cleanup and the restoration and bringing normal order back to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now, we'll proceed with the addressing of the dinosaurs found in Marysville roaming around this morning. We're not sure what's going on with that either. Mr. Mayor, can you please explain to us what happened?
Yes, it's been a long 24 hours here as we have another issue with dinosaurs roaming the city. I got a phone call about 3 a.m. this morning, and I thought I was dreaming about the upcoming installment of the Jurassic Park series, but in fact our police chief and our parks director insisted that dinosaurs had taken over Jennings Park. We actually promptly at that point in time contacted federal and state agencies. They've helped us contain the animals by quickly erecting a steel barricaded fence system around Jennings Park. We have all known dinosaurs in our community now contained in that park. We're not sure, however, if other communities are affected in the same way as this. It would seem unusual that only Marysville has attracted these particular animals. So it's under investigations at the highest levels of the federal government to figure out why these dinosaurs are here and if they have indeed been spotted anywhere else. I'm pleased to tell you, however, that due to the quick actions of our police and state and federal partners, nobody has been injured by these creatures. In fact, they appear to be remarkably calm, which is interesting. So again, much as with the chocolate sauce, we have a lot of busy folks, but we're on top of this, and we will keep you informed throughout the day. Thank you.
We will now address the current situation of raining pancakes and waffles. Mr. Mayor, once again, please tell us what is happening.
Well, you may think you're in an episode of The Twilight Zone, but you in fact live in the city of Marysville. And so we have a third crisis that we're responding to today. The incredible phenomenon of a frequent downpour of waffles and pancakes in our community. There really is no known scientific cause for things such as this. Scientists at the highest levels of the federal government have weighed in, and they are concerned and unable to just figure out what exactly has happened. As far as our waffle and pancake lovers, however, this is a great place to live right now. This mystery is unfortunately, though, coincided with the drying up of worldwide syrup supplies, which is interesting. Here in Marysville, we're seeking new sources and new recipes, though, for syrup, because we believe this would allow us, first of all, to enjoy the bounty of waffles and pancakes, It would also, though, provide high-paying jobs for our citizens, because exporting this syrup would undoubtedly be a boon to our local economy. So there are no reliable predictions to date, really, about how long this downpour will last, or the drought on syrup. So we're going to try to seize the opportunity while it's available to us. And we will keep you informed on this as well. It's going to be a busy few days here in the city of Marysville. Thank you.
Well, you're right about it being busy here in Marysville. A lot of stuff going on. Mr. Mayor, thank you for addressing your people. We will now present to you a segment about normal politicians' bodyguards. Let's show that.
Thank you for having me here today. I will address my speech a little later, and I will be walking around if you have any questions.
10-4, we're moving her now.
Roger that.
False alarm. It's just a candy wrapper. Is he almost done flirting with her?
I don't know, but it's pretty boring and I want a Slurpee.
Well, it was nice to meet you. Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
We have a threat.
Here's your phone back. I put my number in there.
All right, thanks.
Welcome back, Marysville. We're here with our Mayor of Marysville, John Nehring. Now, let's talk about your duties as a mayor right now. What does the average day look like for you?
Yeah, so the average day usually starts sometime between 7 and 8. I have a lot of early morning meetings, so occasionally there'll be a 7 a.m. or 7:30 or an 8 a.m. meeting, either around a committee in the county that I'm on, or maybe something in the city here, a chamber meeting or whatnot. So usually start off the day with that, and then that could run anywhere from 9 to 9:30 or so, and then I try and get in the office and take care of the emails that have come in. I usually get 40 to 50 emails a day, and so take care of some of those and return some phone calls, maybe go through some paperwork and things that I need to sign. And then typically we have maybe some internal meetings, staff meetings, whether it's around budget or our health. Like right now we're planning our clean sweep week, so there might be stuff around that. Any number of things that we're meeting on. I have regular meetings with my director team, and then we have our staff meetings and stuff. Of course, there's generally every day events out in the community that I'm either attending, such as ribbon cuttings or meetings with people in the business community, or neighborhood meetings around issues of crime or code enforcement or things of that nature. So I try and be out in the community every day at those. And then there's also speaking opportunities. Like later this afternoon, I have a speaking opportunity. So mix some stuff in about that.
It sounds like you're very busy with all that stuff.
Definitely.
Do you find it stressful? How do you usually cope with all those things?
No, it's not. I mean, I enjoy staying busy, and I think it's important to be out in the community and to be at as much as you can. And then 2 or 3 nights a week we'll usually have a night meeting. Again, whether it's committee meetings or council meetings or speeches or whatnot. So, usually 2 or 3 days a week. You don't get home till 8 or 9, but it's I enjoy what I do. So if you enjoy what you're doing, I think the day goes by pretty fast, and I like to stay busy. So
what about the road ahead? Do you see yourself going farther in politics? Do you like where you're at and just want to stay mayor of Marysville? Do you want to eventually cut back, or what's your plan so far?
Well, I don't want to cut back. I mean, I really enjoy the pace that I'm at, and I really enjoy being the mayor of Marysville. And right now I am focused on just running again here this November for another term as mayor. I think we've got a lot that we have accomplished in the last 4 years, but we have a lot left to do around some significant priorities that are necessary for Marysville. So I'd like to tackle that here in the next 4 years, and so that's what I'm focused on right now. And who knows what the future will bring? But I really love this job. Yeah.
In the future, you said that you might be able to go into other politics. What's the main difference between like a governor position compared to a mayor position?
Well, I think it's, like I mentioned earlier, the executive branch of government, whether it's mayor, county executive, governor, or president, essentially the mechanics, I guess, of how the system works are the same. It's just that if you're governor, you're at a much higher level, dealing with more complex issues and a much larger population. So I think the main differences would be just the breadth of what you have to deal with the higher you go. But the mechanics of running a day-to-day operation as an executive are the same. It's just how large that operation is.
Okay.
So coming into the mayor's job, what were your goals as you got in? What was like the expectations that you had, and what were some of the things that you wanted to address and take care of throughout your career?
Yeah, good question. Well, public safety has always been a top priority of mine, and we've really worked hard. Our police have done a fantastic job, and the chief and I meet regularly on this, on just how do we be really effective at combating crimes and the criminals and the different things that we deal with on a daily basis there. Drugs are a primary source of most of the crimes in Marysville. People committing property crimes to get their drugs and things of that nature. So we just try and find really unique ways to use all of our resources to the maximum in policing, as well as in fire and our EMS services. So public safety, huge. Transportation is a real passion of mine too, transportation infrastructure. We've done things like extend 51st Street we filled in the gap from 84th to 88th, so now it goes the entire north-south route of Marysville. Ingraham Boulevard, we have the 156th overcrossing over the freeway that we hope to turn into a full interchange. I'm working really hard right now with our state and federal delegation to obtain funding for a new on and off ramp onto the State Route 529 that would come in to Marysville or go out of Marysville, so you could get on and off the freeway around the train tracks.
Yeah.
And then parks and trails are big as well, I think. So we want people to live, work, and play in Marysville as much as they can. So we want to provide quality of life with a robust parks and trails and recreation system.
It sounds like you keep in touch a lot with all the major officials, chief of police, all that.
Yeah.
How would you compare the way you kind of run the city as a mayor compared to other cities around? And do you involve yourself with other cities and talk to other mayors?
A whole lot. Yeah, great question. Yeah, I'm very involved regionally throughout the Puget Sound and particularly in Snohomish County with my fellow mayors and other council members and officials at the county. Close working relationship with all of them. I think it's really important, especially in this day and age, to have partnerships. You really don't get big things done on your own when you talk about big regional issues that we're facing, such as crime and whatnot. For instance, we have a regional property crimes task force that we're partnering with other cities and with the county on. So yeah, I'm very close with a lot of other elected officials, and I think essentially we all have the same goals for our community. We might have different ways of going about it. I really try, one of my goals is to take the mayor's office out to the people, to be very, very accessible, and I think a lot of mayors try and do that. And so I try and make sure that it's an open door policy, get out into neighborhoods, into community groups. I hold regular coffee clatches where we'll just sit down at a venue and I'll just let people ask questions for an hour and a half or so. Things like that, but I think it's important that people have regular contact with their public officials, especially at the local level.
Yeah. Earlier you talked about how drugs are like the primary source of crime around Marysville lately. What are you and chief of police, what's the current game plan on solving that major issue, which obviously you can't just directly solve it, but what are the steps that you guys have been taking to lower those rates? Yeah,
good question, and we've had some success in that in the last several months. So drugs in Marysville and Snohomish County, really throughout the state and the country, that is the big problem right now with crime, because it leads to so many other crimes and so many other social ills in our society. So we have a proactive night team that deals with this. So you have your regular patrol officers that respond.
Right.
They get a call, they respond. But we also want to have a team that's proactive, that goes out and seeks intelligence on drug houses.
So like
and
a drug
deals.
task force.
Yeah. And they go in, and we've taken down several drug houses just in the last few months
awesome.
with a team like that.
That's really cool. Yeah.
So,
All right. So coming into mayor, when you first became mayor, were you kind of weary of the power hungriness that a lot of
Publicity,
people?
was it nerve-wracking?
Yeah.
Or
The publicity around being mayor?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I mean, you know, that's part of the job, and so I think the media has a job to do, and you just try and help them do the best that they can with that. And
What were some of your expectations of the job as you were coming in?
yeah, well, I did expect it to have a certain level of stress, that comes with something like this. But I also had an expectation that it would be a very fulfilling job, which it has been, because you're able to influence the community. You know, I've lived here for 22 years. We've raised our kids here, so this is a community that I want to invest in as mayor and as a community member, just like all of you. And so I'm passionate about what I do every day from that standpoint. And so that has been very fulfilling. So, and I think there's certain things you can't prepare for that happen to any mayor in any term, tragedies or things like that you certainly don't expect to happen. But I think, we all deal with those kind of things in our lives, in whatever job or, in our daily lives. So you just have to learn to respond to things in a proper way when they come about. And that's the same for a mayor, just maybe in a little more public way.
Now, for a more light-hearted subject, if you could do anything else, like any career path, any dreams as a child, what else would you do?
Well, I always tell people two of my favorite things, outside of the true important things of life, like family and friends and whatnot, are politics and sports. So if I love politics, and that'd be my first choice, but if I couldn't do that, something in sports. Obviously, if I had been good enough to play at a professional level, but even beyond that, whether it's general manager or commissioner of a sports league or something like that, I think would be really cool.
Did you play any sports in high school or college?
I did, yeah. I played from grade school all throughout high school, basketball, soccer, a little bit of golf and track.
Oh. What was your favorite one?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Did you excel at that one the most?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so college years, can you explain, like, being eventually a politician, what were some of the things that you practiced? You just talked about how you had like a speech, a little committee. Were there any other things that you did to prepare for being a politician in college?
Yeah, I was on the student senate.
Okay.
So we had a student senate that you would get elected to, and so that was really interesting to me. And that actually enhanced my love of politics as well. So I was on the student senate for I think 2 years. And, in addition to running the programs and the lecture series and being involved with student activities, that was a pretty interesting time.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut to a segment right now, and this one's called Mind Control App, and it's going to show you how one app on the App Store can change someone's life forever.
It's pretty interesting. Let's check that out.
I'll show you. You see Trevor over there? Watch this. I'm gonna control Trevor over there. Let's make him stand up. Whoa, what else can you make him do? Dude, I'm gonna make him do some parkour. Watch this. Whoa, that was gnarly. Dude, what else can we make him do? Trevor's always wanted to go see the pyramids. I think we should make that happen. Well, how are you gonna do that? I'll just use the jump feature, turn it up to 6,000%. I'm sure that'll get him to Egypt. Alrighty then. Setting coordinates for Egypt. Okay. Ready for launch. Well, Trevor, enjoy your trip, buddy. 3, 2, 1.
What the heck? Where am I? Whoa. Am I in Egypt? How did I get here? How am I gonna get home?
So, did he get there okay?
He got there okay, but I lost connection to him, and now I can't control him anymore.
So you're saying he's stuck there?
right, Marysville, I want to thank you again for joining us. That's all the time we have for this morning. Mr. Mayor, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you for coming on the show.
It's been wonderful.
It was a
Marysville,
pleasure.
enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a wonderful Wednesday.